Greetings and welcome. My name is Anita and I am your Sherpa. This is the Storytelling Sherpa. My voice, my journey, my lane. No agenda, no outcomes. Just the transmission of presence from body to body. When I recorded episode 2, something shifted. My voice changed, expansive and authoritative. Mother energy fully seated in my body, recognized instantly when I played it back. Not more or less me, just the alignment of feminine technology, sovereignty, and the nervous system quietly at work. This episode 3 is about the gap, the old identity falling away, the new one not yet fully anchored in the body. That space is disorientating, but necessary. The body isn't safe yet to hold the new timeline, yet the signal is coming through. Many humans feel it, can't articulate it, and it's creating tension, confusion, and liberation all at once. Let's flip the spiritual script. Spiritual awakening, as most know it, is a program. Sorry to break it to all of you who are unaware of it. It is a program of compliance, performance, and external validation. And unfortunately, many of us are still feeding it unconsciously. Real awakening, invisible, body-led, sovereign, and disruptive because it requires staying inside the system while quietly collapsing it from within. You need to be in the system to break the system. Remember that old TV show, Prison Break? Why this is disruptive? It's not about leaving the matrix, the escape story. Quit your job, meditate, buy a course, transcend. It's just another program layer. True sovereignty, remain in the system, fully present, quietly reprogramming it through body, nervous system, and aligned spine. And that's a very common story that you hear many. I want to escape the matrix. When they say that, that tells me where they are at, and it gives you an understanding and a quick helicopter view of which program they are operating from, because we're all operating from multiple programs at multiple times. This is not about gurus, workshops, or trendy tools. Outer layer performance hacks. Real work is internal, somatic, ancestral, micro. Cannot be outsourced, and nor can it be copy-pasted. Yet your body is your secret technology. The nervous system, the spine, the womb, your inner child. These hold the code the spiritual program tries to bypass. Align your body, feel it. The old rules collapse under your presence. And when you have an awareness around it, that is the sweet, juicy nectar. Pulling back is revolutionary. Cancel worksheet. Pulling back is revolutionary. Cancel workshops. Ignore hype. Do less, but deeper. The program expects outward seeking. Turning inward quietly breaks the cycle. Sovereignty is quiet rebellion. Expansive, authoritative. Mother energy fully seated in flesh and bone. Invisible but felt. And when you connect to that mother energy that's not distorted, are you then connecting into the feminine technology? That's a whole other conversation. Why this is so disruptive to the system itself? Let's ground this. When I say machine or matrix, I'm not talking about some sci-fi villain hiding behind a curtain. I'm talking about systems. Economic systems, attention systems, spiritual marketplaces, identity structures, nervous system patterns that keep humans reactive, searching, and consuming. Exhibit A, where we find ourselves currently. And here's the disruptive part. When you stop performing awakening, when you stop chasing the next workshop, the next guru, the next identity, when you regulate your nervous system and align your spine instead of reacting to headlines or trends, you become harder to predict. Systems thrive on predictability. They thrive on urgency, on fear, on identity, on I'm not there yet, on external validation. A regulated body interrupts that. And to be honest, I've been consciously working on my nervous system since December 2025, and today is March 2026. And I've noticed life still carries on and continues as it does, yet my nervous system tells me that the moment I don't give a fuck like I used to, or I'm not afraid, or I'm not in anxious mode with whatever is coming my way, that's telling me how much my nervous system is being regulated. So I use that as a gauge. I check in. It's a beautiful reflection to have, really, when something happens. And I had something this week come up with me, and it was like, oh, the old me would have been in a little bit of frozen mode, fear, anxiety. And now I'm like, oh, I just don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And it's such a beautiful space to feel and anchor it, compared to as opposed to saying it. When you embody it, like embodiment, whole other level. An aligned spine changes your breath. Your breath changes your nervous system. Your nervous system changes your decisions. Your decisions change what you consume, who you follow, what you tolerate. That's not mystical, that's mechanical. When you remain inside the system, working your job, living your life, but you stop feeding it, you begin collapsing it quietly from within. And when you have that moment of realization and that self-awareness that you're still feeding it, oh, that's the pure magic. Not by escaping, not by posting about it, not by announcing it, by embodying it. Or as I say, by embodying it. So it's in your body. Now that's disruptive and a little bit sexy, let's be real. Now let's clean up the false light too. False light isn't demons and drama. It's spiritual performance without integration. It's high vibe language with an unregulated nervous system. It's aesthetic awakening without shadow work. It's constantly talking about love while bypassing anger, grief, and fear. It looks shiny, it feels elevated, but it keeps you dependent. Real awakening, it's boring, it's quiet, it's sitting in the gap when your old identity is dissolving and the new one hasn't formed yet, and not rushing to replace it. And I find myself right in this juicy gap myself. Hence today's episode. Most systems rush to fill that gap with narrative. You staying in it, that destabilizes narrative control. That's why this matters. Why is sovereignty so threatening? Let's look at it without being dramatic. Sovereignty isn't rebellion with a megaphone. It's internal authority. It's emotional regulation. It's not outsourcing discernment. It's not needing constant reassurance or spiritual belonging. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You ready? Breathe it in. When enough people stop reacting, stop chasing, stop performing identity, the attention economy weakens, the spiritual marketplace shifts, the emotional manipulation doesn't land the same way. Again, not mystical, structural. That's the disruption. Why the gap is happening now. The old identity is collapsing because the system can no longer hold us in its narrative. The new identity hasn't landed because the body isn't fully safe yet to integrate it or even hold it. And you may sometimes feel like the system is rehearsing this timeline to hold it, to integrate it through your dream space, or even little snippets throughout your reality coming your way. This space is fertile. Nervous system, spine, and cellular memory are recalibrating. waiting to hold more frequency. Remember, at the end of the day, our mission, our pure, real mission for those source intelligence-led beings is to hold as much light as you can in your physical body. That's it. And the way you do it and the environment you're in does not matter. The mission is to hold as much light in your physical body. I've been saying that to myself for years and others around me. The gap feels disorientating, lonely, or boring, but it's exactly where real integration happens. Now, while we're here, let's debunk the New Earth program. Yes, let's be real, it is a fucking program itself. Promises of a new earth as external reality, another program. Chasing it equals outward focus, performance and validation. Real new earth equals inner lane work, sovereign presence, nervous system integration, one human at a time. Anchored in flesh, not ideology. Let's now flip the script. Stop performing awakening. Stop chasing new earth promises. Stop seeking external approval. Instead, feel your body. Align your spine. Reclaim your nervous system. Stay in the system. Do the inner lane work and let the collective unravel naturally through you. Insert truth bomb. Most who think they're awake are performing. Real awakening is boring, quiet, messy, physical, embodied, invisible, dangerous to the spiritual program, and that's why it matters. Now let's take a moment for our Sherpa interlude. For today's interlude, take a breath, stop scrolling, stop chasing. Your body is speaking, your nervous system is listening. Notice the space around you, the subtle weight of your feet on the floor, the way your spine naturally wants to sit, stand, move. Breathe or don't. You don't have to do anything. Just feel the rise and fall of presence inside you. A gentle in, a slow out, rhythm without effort, safety without question. This is your pause, your reset, your chance to step inside your own body-led intelligence. Nothing to perform, nothing to prove, just you, fully here, fully sovereign. And that was today's Sherpa interlude. Before we continue, I want to invite you into something practical. Not a technique to perform or post, a listening exercise for body, spine, and nervous system. Find stillness. Sit or stand, spine upright, shoulders soft, feet rooted. Notice your breath. Don't change it. Observe, rise, fall, subtle expansions in your chest or belly. Your body remembers more than your mind. Scan your spine, sacrum to crown. Notice tension, energy, empty spaces. Where is the nervous system feeling safe, alert, tight? Just notice and breathe. And as you breathe in, bring the energy from the floor up through your spine to your head. And as you exhale, bring it back down. And this is just you using your breath. Triggered, buried intelligence. Triggering buried intelligence. Hands on chest or your sacrum. Imagine a cord of energy connecting these points, linking source energy, lineage memory, body wisdom. No need to do, just feel. Inhale, exhale, spine activation. Tukata, ah. Inhale, pull energy up the spine. Exhale, release energy down. Hands on thighs, gentle, rhythmic, micro. Kota, ekate, oof. And just allow that energy. Hui, tota, ha, da. And just keep breathing that energy up and down. Ask your body silently. Whisper to her or him. Where is presence waiting to emerge? Where is my nervous system holding back? What old programs am I ready to release? How does my spine want to move, align, integrate? Notice what surfaces. Do not judge. Micro movements, tingling, subtle energy, or even emotions rising to the surface. Buried codes awakening. The body remembering itself, and you finally listening to your body. Now, let's anchor this awareness. Hands on your thighs or your belly. Take 3 deep breaths. Imagine the spine, your nervous system absorbing intelligence. Even tiny shifts counts. You've triggered inner lane recalibration. And breathing in and out. Still continuing to breathe and just letting it settle. Now here's a little side note. This is designed for slow integration. If shock, overwhelm, or emotional rises, pause. Let your body settle. Spiritual awakening is incremental, not all at once. The outside system is intense. This is your internal calibration to meet it from presence, not panic. Now that you've tuned in to your body, let's explore something many feel but can't articulate: the gap. The space between old identity, who we thought we were, taught to be, the spiritual persona, and the new one, not yet merged. That new timeline stirs, but the body isn't fully safe or anchored to hold it. And when I say the new one, there's an element of it being familiar, it being safe, it being who you really are. Because from our very first breath back into this reality, we are always told when to stop crying as a child. Don't do this, don't do that. And it continues straight through until the new one emerges through that crack, that little light shining out. Old systems, identities, programs are collapsing. That's why we feel disorientated. And this is where we are. Our human collective is right at this precipice, this threshold that we are all standing at and being in, whether we're conscious of it or not. The new cannot fully land in us because nervous system, spine, body intelligence are still integrating. And even in some of us, laying dormant, unconscious to its intelligence, to connect to it, to listen to it, and to work with it in right relationship. This gap is a portal, fertile space for real sovereignty, deep presence, true alignment. Here's another truth bomb. Many feel lost, disconnected, exhausted, standing in the middle of this gap. The body calls for recalibration, not action, pause, not performance, presence, not escapism. Yet that are the programs that we have been operating from, the ones that is our default, our backup. That's why it's no longer working and the body is refusing to reboot in that old system. This is why pulling back from workshops, courses, external hype is happening now. There goes my throat chakra again. Your body, nervous system, inner lane work led. External programs cannot awaken this. Real work is quiet, invisible, micro, yet paradoxically ripples through the collective. Real work is when you listen to your body and you do not override it. And if the body says rest, recalibrate this, reintegrate this shift, do it. Now I'm going to drop another truth bomb. Everyone performing awakening is mostly looking outward, validating, chasing a new earth outside themselves. Real new earth emerges through inner lane, nervous system led, body aligned humans, one at a time. When we pull back, we do less, refusing performative programs. that equals revolutionary. Quiet rebellion, unseen, unmarked, and therefore we become untouchable. Sovereignty feels expansive, authoritative, mother energy fully seated in flesh and bone, recognized instantly by your body, invisible to most, yet its effect is collective. Why this matters now? The gap happens collectively because old identity is unsustainable. But new identity requires body safety, nervous system integration, micro-alignment before it can fully merge. Many feel exhausted, lost, disconnected. It's recalibration. Resistance is natural ego, old identity. The program itself whispers, do more, seek outside, escape, ignore it. Gap equals signal, not failure. By stepping into your body, aligning your spine, listening to inner intelligence, you pull the system apart from inside. You hold the timeline for yourself and the collective, even if invisible. And this is the reason why so many light workers, and I do that invertedly, light workers, never lived or birthed the timeline of an abundant timeline, always in scarcity, always in lack, not enough money. That's the typical story, that's the typical program. And the reason for it is because the body never felt safe to receive that so-called abundance. That program and that illusion of do the work, love and light, and this is where you'll be. Now I hope this seed does make sense, why there are so many light workers who are not in those abundant timelines, as they can feel it. The mind can feel it, yet the body doesn't feel safe enough to receive it. Therefore, allow yourself to sit in this gap of not feeling safe. At the end of the day, the gap is a safety gap. Where do you not feel safe in the body to receive love, money, abundance, career, new timeline, new life, all of the above? And the integration and the embodiment is the feminine technology. It's expansive, authoritative, mother energy fully seated in the body, recognized by the system, not learned, not performed. The gap is recalibration, old identity dissolving, new one not yet anchored. Expect tension, boredom, emptiness, excitement. These are all signals of integration. Staying in the system, your work, your nervous system, body, quietly collapse old programs. Sovereignty equals revelation. Revolution of the spiritual program. And we are rewriting it as we speak, as we do not even consciously understand. It is in our blueprint, in the body. And then the real awakening, messy, quiet, body-led, invisible, infectious to the collective without performance. Thank you for receiving today's drop. Thank you for receiving me. New episodes drop every Friday. Weekly seeds in time. Pause, breathe, remember presence for you, for me, for the collective. Here in the Storytelling Sherpa, your story, your pace, your presence.